Ezekiel Elliott reportedly has not firmly decided whether or not he'll hold out. Camp begins Friday, and the Cowboys have a lot of people to pay. Nick, what would a Zeke holdout mean for quarterback Dak Prescott?
I guess it would be an opportunity for Dak to prove a lot of people wrong, but a Zeke holdout would be bad news for the Cowboys. The Cowboys, I have my trusty schedule grid right here. They opened their season with 3 very winnable games. Home for the Giants, at Washington, home for Miami. A fully healthy Cowboys team will be favored in all those games, in good position to go 3-0. Without Zeke, it's much more questionable. So, yeah, wouldn't be good for Dak, wouldn't be good for the team.
Last year, Jenna, when the Cowboys won time in possession, people won't give Zeke credit, but those who know football know Zeke is responsible for that. When they win time in possession, they were 8-0. When their defense stays off the field and plays shorter than 30 minutes, they're quicker, they're more explosive, can get to the quarterback, make more plays on the football. So, man, Zeke, this is going to be a tough one now. This is going to be a tough one. I don't believe that Zeke is going to go to training camp.
Wow. All right, finally, some bad news for an already
That's what I got to do.
Depleted Patriots receiving core. Julian Eselman will reportedly miss multiple weeks of training camp with a thumb injury. Chris, what would the Patriots receiving core look like without Gronk and now without Julian Eselman for a while?
I don't even know. Like, I'm like serious. Like, I got the most amount of faith in sports. I appropriate that to Bill Belichick. Like no other coach, like no other organization. But I don't know what they're going to do. Like, I don't know what they're going to do week number 1. Because they can't afford, with Gronk's retirement, Edelman, their primary slot receiver, they don't have a deep threat down the field. They don't have a guy that's a proven commodity to be able to throw the ball to 5 to 8 times a game. Man, look, listen, this is going to be a running game, a dink and dunk. Like, that's all they can do. They got to protect Tom Brady. Does he turn 40 what?
42 this year.
Oh, my goodness. They got to protect him. And with Gronk being gone, Edelman, his favorite target, I don't know what they're going to do. But I mean, this would be some of the best work that the Patriots, Josh McDaniel, have ever done if they pull this skilled group together.
1 year ago today, if we were talking about the Patriots receiving core, we would have been saying, man, this is one of the least talented groups Brady's had in the last decade, and that was with Gronk still on the team, and with Edelman, he was facing a 4-game suspension, but with Edelman, we knew he was coming back into the fold. Right now, without Julian Edelman, they have N'Keal Harry, who's their first-round pick, but we know how difficult it is for receivers.
Yeah, he's going to be a possession receiver from Arizona State, not a speed guy, all right? He's going to be a guy not getting a whole bunch of separation. A big body, typically bigger than what they've had there in New England for a long time.
And anyone that drafts a receiver in the first round drafts them for what they will be, not what they are their rookie year. There are very few Anquan Boldens in this league that come in their rookie year. They're instantly really good. There's Philip Dorsett, who once upon a time was a first-round pick and made, I think, 2 significant plays that come to mind for me last year for the Patriots down the field. But
I coached him from the time he was 14 to the time he was 18 at St. Thomas Aquinas. He went on the University of Miami, has not lived up to that first-round billing there with the Colts. And he is a number 4.
Yeah.
He's not even a number 3.
And he's kind of a special teamer to a degree. And then you go down, Demaryius Thomas, they picked him up. He's on the PUP list to start camp. Sony Michel, who'd be a big part of that running game, he's on the PUP list to start camp as a guy who's always seemed to have some type of lingering knee issue. We don't know if that's going to elongate. And again, Edelman might be healthy by the start of the year, but if they were to miss him, it would be, they already might be with Edelman in the bottom 5 as far as talent in the receiver room. Without Edelman, what do you become? You instantly become, without question, the least accomplished group of pass catchers anyone has in the entire NFL.
What did you say about the receiving core last year, a year ago at this time?
We had major questions about it.
How did the Patriots do last year?
Well, they won the Super Bowl.
Okay, so my point is, the whole thing we talk about with the Patriots is next man up. Shouldn't we have, even though, you know, Brady's turning, what, 42?
This is the thing, Jimmy, that's great. But I don't know the next guy.
But isn't that the sort of the point, that it's the system over the individual guys? Isn't that what we've been talking about?
It is to a degree, and then you're in overtime against the Chiefs, and on 3 straight third downs, you go to Rob Gronkowski. And then you need a huge play in the Super Bowl, and you go to Rob Gronkowski. Like, yes, I don't think anyone at the table would be saying, well, if Edelman missed the season, Patriots 6-10, here we come. But you do need reliable people in the biggest of spots. And you can't just, I mean, you can't all of a sudden just start cutting off body parts and say the guy's always going to be okay. Eventually, you're not. And so, no, I wouldn't be writing them off, and I'm not writing them off.
There's a reason why people had plenty of doubts about them the first 2 months of the season. There's plenty of doubts about them going to Kansas City. The reason why, because they're not that explosive. So yes, I can sit here and explain the system. Everyone knows that. They've been doing it for 20 years. But who's going to be the next guy? And to me, I think it's important that I give a sense of concern to the public. I started off by saying there's no coach I believe in more than Bill Belichick, and I'm concerned. I'm a Patriots fan. I like Kraft. I like the way they do things. I'm concerned. I think football fans should know that.
All right, let's move on to Odell Beckham now. In a GQ cover story that came out yesterday, Beckham revealed, among other things, that he had grown so unhappy with football while with the New York Giants that he considered retirement 2 years ago. He also talked about his emotional state upon hearing he'd been traded to Cleveland, saying, I felt disrespected. Like, after everything I've done for them, this is me being honest. This team has not been good for the last 6 years. I felt disrespected because I felt like I was the main reason at keeping that brand alive. They were getting primetime games still as a 5-11 team. Why? Because people want to see the show. You want to see me play. Chris, what was your reaction to what Odell had to say?
When you're 5-11, there ain't a whole bunch of a show. All right? When you're not a good football team, maybe some other leagues and everything, you go to Major League Baseball, no matter what the Angels do, I'm going to see Mike Trout. That's not the case in the NFL. People want to go see a winner. There's a reason why Larry Fitzgerald, for a number of years, why he not complained about the organization, complained about not winning in Arizona. There's two different leagues. There's a league everyone plays in, and there's the one that the winners play in. And those are the ones you can't, just because you're in prime time, think that you're responsible for that. Odell, just get a grip on yourself. This is the New York Football Giants. They have earned a reputation through how they have put year after year, 10 years, in 10-year increments, they're going to put a good team on the field. How they treat their players, all right? That's all a part of the New York Football Giants brand. Not you. They haven't won since you've been there. You ain't won no playoff game there. What did you do for the Giants? You didn't enhance the brand for the Giants. And to think that you did? No, come on, Odell. Like, there's a level of immaturity in his statements that I would have thought at this point he would have been beyond. He left himself because of his conduct. That's why they traded him. He was responsible for them trading him. Him with his wandering eye, saying certain things about the New York Giants. Are you happy with the Giants? You signed a contract extension. I don't know. Those are the types of things that get you traded. So you should assume some of the responsibility for you not being with the New York Football Giants, and you talk behind the scenes of you not being with the Giants. You wanting to play with the Rams. You wanting to go New England. Yeah, we had those discussions. Yeah, you told me. And then they traded you. Now you're upset when you were talking about getting traded before? Come on, Odell, make up your mind.
I was surprised by parts of this interview, just like I was surprised by, because I'd had similar conversations when right after Odell got traded and I reached out to him, he didn't seem happy. He didn't immediately seem like relieved or happy. And it was surprising because you had told me at the Super Bowl that he said, I think they're going to trade me. So he seemed emotionally prepared for it. And we knew a year prior that he had been, much like how Kevin Durant's been described, he's a bit of a seeker, looking for what's next, looking for, is the grass greener there? And I understand the frustration of playing with the Giants and feeling like, man, I'm the most talented guy on the team, and as Bill James says, bad teams have a bad habit of blaming their best players for their biggest problems. I'm sure Odell felt some of that. Now, some of those problems were of his doing, but on the field, no one can question his production. I understand he had a bad playoff game, and he admits in that article he had a really bad playoff game. He's not the biggest reason they lost that playoff game, but he certainly could have helped. But aside from that individual moment, he's been exemplary on the field as far as his production. You can say the conduct on the sideline, the celebrations, whatever it is, but these are two different buckets. And what Odell, even at this age, doesn't seem to fully click in for him is that sometimes, even if you think you're being honest, there is no win in the honesty. Maybe there should be, but there isn't. We talked about with the Eli Manning comments. When is Eli part of the problem, or is Eli part of the future? Whatever it was, I remember his answer. I don't know. And that was...
You can be honest when you're in business for yourself, but you're in team sports. You made a choice to be in team sports. And when you're in team sports, you have to say certain things. So, no, being honest is not the right thing.
Well, and so in this, he didn't do anything that undercut his current team, but he did do, in talking about the Giants, he asked, no, because he's not a dumb guy, that this is going to be the takeaway for so many people from the article. In this interview, he had, I thought, some incredibly evolved and really smart comments when he was asked about his sexuality in a way that I've never heard a pro football player talk, an active superstar pro football player. But those are going to be lost in the wash because he took shots at the Giants. He took shots at his former team, and it's just not in his interest. The best interest for him, even if you do have things you want to say, is to say, honestly, what happened to the Giants happened there. Yes. Had some good times, had some bad times. I'm so excited for this era in Cleveland. Just to remove that from the discussion. He does not, for all his good traits, he does not seem to have the capability at this point to bite his tongue even when it would help him. And that, listen, if you're going to, it's anyone's right to live the way they want, but he's got to know that is then going to cause this type of discussion, which I think he wants to avoid.
Right. I think what he wants is a clean, fresh start, football-wise and otherwise. And every time you take a step backwards into your former self, where you used to be, where you had issues, I think that, you know, you're one step back from where you want to be. All right, let's take a break. Coming up, will Zeke and the Cowboys get a deal done before training camp starts? That is still ahead on First Things First.
The comments about